With the immigration debate raging in the election this year, there are now new calls for the United States to change its open-door policy with Cuba. William Jeunesse reporting live from Los Angeles on this. Good morning, William.
Martha, if you're caught at the border as a Mexican, we send you back. If you're Central American, you get a hearing, you get sent back. But if you're a Cuban, you get food stamps, cash, and a right to live here for good. And that policy is helping fuel the largest exodus of Cubans in decades.
Outside the embassy in Havana, these Cubans stand in line for a visa to visit the U.S. Others, however, aren't waiting, traveling through Central America to Texas.
Cuba has already sent to the United States over 2 million people. I mean, how many more?
The exodus from Cuba is exploding. Unlike other immigrants turned back by the Border Patrol, Cubans get a free pass.
You say, I'm a Cuban, and they'll let you in.
They detain in the immigration for a few hours, and then they release from there.
Released with food stamps, medical care, and enough cash for the next 8 months. Weeks later, they can become legal permanent residents.
The most people go to Florida, Miami, or different cities in Florida.
44,000 Cubans arrived in the U.S. last year, looking, like Carlos Zabala, for a better life.
The current situation in Cuba is critical, really bad. You can't live there.
Instead of a dangerous trip across the Florida Straits, Cubans now typically fly to Ecuador, take a train or bus to Colombia, through Central America to Mexico City, where they catch a flight to the border, then walk into Texas.
We have to end the abuse of American generosity.
Cuban-American Congressman Carlos Cubello says it's time to close America's open-door policy with Cuba, since their immigrants are no different than others who are just fleeing poverty.
We really have to reform this law.
The problem is U.S. policy considers every Cuban a political refugee, when Martha, most admit, of course, they are not. So people are trying to get in now before we change the policy.
That is a fascinating story. Great bit of reporting. Thank you, William.
There is a